Hi, I'm Belle and welcome to How to IT. This is going to be a step-by-step guide on getting you using OBS Studios quickly and easily. Whether you want to stream or just record, don't worry, I've got you covered. Okay, so we've opened up OBS. If you have problems installing or going through the auto config wizard, check my previous video. I go into detail in there. I'm not going to do it in here because otherwise this video is going to be so long. This video is going to be so long anyway. So this video's aim is to get you streaming or recording. So I'm not going to go through absolutely everything because this program is huge. We are going to just focus on getting you up and running. All right, so with that being said, let's get a lay of the land. So when you first open OBS, this is what it's going to look like. So down here, you might not have anything. My OBS can pick up my mic and audio automatically because I'm actually using OBS to record me using OBS. So yeah, so my mic and desktop has already been picked up. But if yours hasn't, we will go through on how to set that up anyway. Okay, so first you have our viewing window. So this is also called a preview window. So whatever's in this window is what your viewers are going to see. So whether it's you're streaming or recording, this is what your viewers will see. One thing also, if your OBS doesn't look like this with the one screen, sometimes OBS likes to open up in studio mode. So if it does look different with two screens up there, you can just click on studio mode and it will turn it back to one screen. But while we're in studio mode, I wanted to go through quickly what this is used for. So this is your preview screen. So it's not like the one that we just saw. This is the one that we just saw. So this is what your viewers are going to see. And you can actually set up scenes and then play them on here and make sure that they're all good and that's what you want. So you can cue them here and then you can press transition and then it'll play and be on so your viewers can see it, if that makes sense. We'll have a look a little bit more into that, but I just wanted to just touch base on that. So if your screen does look like this, you just need to click on studio mode down here and it'll come up to the preview window. For recording, you pretty much just want this window. This is pretty much all you'll need. The studio mode is more for streaming side of things. But in saying that, you can just use the one screen if you think the two screens are too confusing. You can use just the one screen for streaming as well. So next I want to point out down the bottom right, we have some gauges down here. We have some gauges telling us what frame rate we are getting. So this is our frame rate. This is our CPU usage at the moment. So I am actually using OBS to record. And then this is a timer for recording. This is a timer of how long you've been live. And this is a connection warning. If you go further along down the bottom of this bar, you will get notifications like errors. So if you press start recording and then all of a sudden it says overclocking error, you can see all these error messages here. It's always good practice just to keep an eye down on this bottom bar after pressing start streaming or recording to see how your computer's handling it. Okay, the next main thing we want to talk about is this. This is our control panel. So pretty straightforward. If you want to start streaming, you press start streaming, start recording, start virtual camera. Studio mode, which is what we talked about before. Settings is where you go to change any setting that you need to in OBS. And exit, which is, of course, where you exit the program. So going from right to left, we have our scene transitions next. We will talk a little bit about this in a couple minutes, but you also have this section in studio mode as well. Okay, moving along, we have our audio mixer. It looks after all the audio that OBS uses. So whether it be your desktop audio, microphone, Discord, Spotify, game music, game sounds, whatever, you'll find it all in here. And you can actually make channels for each individual one. And I will make a video specifically on audio in OBS. So stay tuned for that. So moving on over, we have our sources. This is where we tell OBS what we want to display up on our viewing window. So whether it is your camera or desktop or game, etc. This is where you will find it. And then we have scenes. So this allows us to break up our sources into related scenes. So maybe one scene we want our desktop big and camera small so our viewers can see what we're doing, but also at the same time they can see us in that little window. But then if we want to chat to our audience, we would want our webcam huge. So we would create a new scene and then jump to that scene. So this allows us to just easily switch between scenes that the viewer can see. Okay, and last of all, we have our traditional menu up here. So we've got File, Profiles, Scenes, Tools, Docs, and there's a whole range of plugins for OBS as well. I was going to do a top 10 my favorite plugins for OBS video later down the track as well. Okay, so that was a quick rundown on the overall view of OBS. So you can kind of find your way around doing things now. Okay, so let's dive in a little bit deeper. So first things first, let's get our settings out of the way. So if we come down to control, our control panel down here, and click on settings. Now we've got a list of general, stream, output, audio, video, hotkeys, accessibility, and advanced. Now, I'm not going to go through every single setting because that would make this video even longer. But I'm just going to focus on the things to get you up and running and what you should be aware of. So first, in general, you have your language. So if you prefer a different language, there's heaps to choose from. Click one and use that. I'm going to stick with English. So theme. So you can actually change what OBS looks like. I'm going to stick on default because I think it's just easier to read on the screen that you're watching. Okay, so the next one that I want you to be aware of is just make sure that this update channel is on stable, latest stable release, which is default. One last thing, just in this general tab, it would be good practice if you set some of these settings. So if you are streaming and you want OBS to automatically record your stream, so then you can upload it to YouTube or whatever later, it might be an idea to tick that. If you would like a dialog box just to confirm that you want to stop your stream or stop recording, I would definitely keep these on, as you might hit the wrong button while you're streaming and then all of a sudden your stream's down. But if you have that confirmation dialog box, if you've hit that button, it'll still come up and say, are you sure you want to stop the stream? And then you have the opportunity to say no and save your stream. So I would definitely keep those on. Same goes with when you're starting your stream. So you can put a confirmation dialog box to say, yes, you want to start the stream now. You can do that. I don't know. I don't typically have that on. And one thing I'll just point out with studio mode, you can actually double click the transition scene to send it to transition to live. So I do normally have that on. And after you've done all your adjusting in general, I always have good policy to click apply. So these settings are saved now. And then we can go to stream. So this is where you're going to set up your streaming account. So today I'm just going to go through setting up and linking your Twitch and then setting up and linking a YouTube channel for today's exercise. So for the first one, let's set up our Twitch account. So we just use a stream key. So to find your stream key, okay, so to link your Twitch, you'll need to open up Twitch, log into your account, then over on the right-hand side, you click on your little gamer icon or picture, and then we go to create a dashboard. Then down the right-hand side, you want to click on settings and then stream, and you will find your primary stream key. You just press copy. We'll just minimize that. And then where it says stream key, we're just going to paste and apply. So also another method to getting your stream key, you can also just click on get stream key here and it will take you to the page that we were just on, and you just press copy and paste it in there. And make sure you press that apply. Now, similarly with YouTube, you'll just have to find YouTube. You can then go use Stream Key. My Stream Key is already in there, but same thing. You can go to get Stream Key. Okay, so you can get your Stream Key here. Press copy. And then I'll just delete this. And we'll press paste and then apply. Now you can connect your YouTube account and Twitch accounts. I'm just going to click OK, and then we're going to close the YouTube dock panel. We don't need that open right now. And we'll just go back into settings. So you can log in to your Twitch account and YouTube accounts directly via OBS if you would like, or you can just use the Stream Key, either or. Okay, so we've connected our online streaming. Now, if you don't plan to stream, you can skip this part because you don't need it. So next is output. Now, there are two output settings, simple and advanced. In this tutorial, I'm just going to stay on simple and we'll just go through the list. Okay, so first under streaming, we have our video bitrate. Now, this is dependent on your upload speed of your internet and is also dependent on what streaming service you're streaming to. There are links in the description for YouTube streaming recommendations and also Twitch streaming recommendations settings. So I generally choose above 4,000. Of course, you can go much higher if your internet can handle it. So if you don't know your internet speed, I will have a link in the description for speedtest.net. It'll bring you to this site. You can just press go and it will test what download speed you have and what upload speed you have. So currently I've got 52 megabits per second download and 19 upload. Nope, 18 upload. So I had 18 megabits per second upload. So if you'll notice that this says megabits per second, but this setting is kilobits per second. So this being megabits per second, we've got 18. So there's 1,000 kilobits per second in every megabit per second. So we just need to times this by 1,000 and we'll get 18,000. Beware though, if you have more devices connected and running on the same internet, that download speed and upload speed gets divided among the devices that are using that internet. So just keep this number in mind. But if you want to run a 1080p stream, I recommend 4,000 to 6,000. If you want to do like 4K and things, you'll obviously need to up this. And you can test your stream as well, just to make sure you don't get any stuttering and things before you actually go live. So the audio bitrate, 160 is probably bare minimum. I wouldn't go any lower than that. If you are just talking on your stream, like just chit-chatting, and you've just got your microphone as audio, then 160 is fine. I generally go from like 160 to 256. 256 if you've got a lot of audio, like you're talking, you've got Spotify playing in the background, also you've got game sound, and there's a lot of audio going on. You can bump that up to like 256, but anything higher, I haven't really seen the benefits. So 160 to 256, you make the call. I'm just going to leave it to 160 because I pretty much just talk. So the video encoder, this is my hardware. So the hardware is your graphics card. If you have a good enough graphics card, you can use that to help your stream or your recording process. Or if you don't have this option, stick with software, but do keep in mind that your stream may be limited in that regard. So in Coda Preset, depending again on your computer setup, if you don't have a great computer, you may need to select from P1 to P4. If your computer is pretty good, P5 to P7. You will have to make that call. And then audio encoder is AAC as default, and that's it. Okay, so down to recording. So recording path is obviously where you want your videos to save. So mine is on my C drive, users, motor, and then videos. You can click browse and you can go through the list and create a folder or whatever where you want your videos to save. Recording quality, high quality, medium file size. This is also dependent on the hard drive size of your computer. I find personally high quality medium file size is perfectly fine for the videos and things that I record. Now the recording format, I set mine to MKV. There is others in here. So I would probably recommend MKV or MP4. So there is downsides to both. So if you choose MP4 and you've been recording for an hour and a half, you've done some really cool stuff in your game, and then all of a sudden your computer crashes and you have to reboot, that MP4 file is lost. So if OBS gets shut down before you press stop recording and it does its video saving process, then that MP4 file is gone. However, on MKV, if that happens, the MKV file is generally probably stopped just before or a little bit before your computer crashed. So you've still got that file. But the MKV files cannot be read on DaVinci and Adobe Premiere Pro. So you have to actually remux them into a MP4 before importing those to then edit later down the track. And to do that, it's very simple. We just go to File, Remux Recordings, and then we choose our recording that we want to remux. So I'll just choose my last Planet Crafter video. So it's the MKV, and we want to save it as an MP4, and then we just press Remarks. I'm not going to, because it's going to say, you've already got this file, like, do you really want to do it again? So yeah, but that's all you do. And then wherever your MKV file is, it'll save the MP4 file there. And then you can import that to DaVinci and Adobe Premiere Pro and everything, and it will work fine. I find that MKV files are a little bit smaller as well than MP4s. So it saves on my hard drive space as well. Okay, so back into settings in output. We have our video encoder. So hardware, same thing, that's our graphics card. Or you can do a software and software low CPU usage. So that just takes a little bit of the pressure off your CPU. Then we've got our audio encoder again, AAC, and then audio track. So you can choose how many audio tracks you would like as well. And then also down the bottom here is a replay buffer. So if you've done something like super cool in your game and you want to be able to replay that in your stream, you can enable this. And you can set up a shortcut key and then click on that shortcut key, and then it will instantly replay that awesome thing that you just did. Okay, so audio. So one thing I personally recommend changing your desktop audio to whatever speakers that you're using and that you want your sound to come out of. So I've got my headset on. So my speakers, I've put them to my headset. And then also the mic, I've got to my same headset. I would highly recommend having these set instead of the default, and make sure you hit that apply setting. Okay, moving on. So this is the OBS settings for your video recording. So if you want to have your whole screen recorded or streamed, you need to pick your screen ratio. I've only got a 1080p monitor. I've actually got 3 monitors because I went with 2 and then I was just like, this is amazing. And then I went with 3 and I'm like, I can't go back now. So I've just got 1080p monitors. But if you had a different monitor, feel free to make that to your aspect ratio. So if you've got a really wide screen, a 4K widescreen, make sure that ratio is, that aspect ratio is what your monitor is. It normally gives you a little drop down as well of what your screen's capable of pushing out. So this is your monitor, which is the base canvas resolution. So the output is different. So OBS can actually downscale the output resolution. So if you're running a ultra wide 4K monitor, you can actually downscale that to 1080p if you wanted to. So there is a lot more options to downscale here. So if you were running a 1080p monitor, but your bit rate for your upload speed for your internet wasn't that great, and you could only stream in 720, then you could have this output and select 1280 by 720. Okay, and then don't forget to press apply, for those settings. Now we come down to hotkeys. Now this is a huge list, and once we start adding scenes and everything, it'll get bigger. But this is a list to actually put your own hotkeys in. So say if you wanted to just be able to press a button to start recording, you could click on here and I'm going to press plus. So that's the numpad plus, and my OBS will then start recording when I press that numpad plus button. If you've also got a Stream Deck, I've got a Stream Deck video coming as well. You can add buttons from your Stream Deck to this list as well to make life easier, switching between scenes and turning recording and streaming on and off. So accessibility. If you have color issues, you can change the color for the source border, volume mixes, etc. to better suit what you can see. Okay, lastly, advanced. In here, you want to make sure automatically reconnect is enabled. So if we go down to automatically reconnect, you want to hit that enable button, and then you can actually adjust this. So retry, I normally do every 10 seconds and maximum 20 retries. So this is in case your stream does drop out, OBS will then automatically try to reconnect to get your stream up and running again. And make sure you press that apply button. So now we can get into the fun stuff of setting up your scenes and making your live stream look cool. So now if we go over to scenes over here, we'll have a scene 1. We have our first scene here. Now we're going to change this. So we're going to right click on this and we're going to rename this scene to main camera. Okay, so think about what you want in your scene. So with this, we've named it main camera. Don't know if you can hear my cat, but he's snoring, so apologies. But we've got our main camera here. So I just want a shot of me in the camera so I can talk to my audience. So that's what we're going to set up. So we're going to add a source and we're going to click on video capture device. And I'm going to call this front camera. You can't actually call this source the same as a scene name. So just keep that in mind. So I've got front camera, press OK. And I think it's, yeah, that's me. So we've got our device. That's just my webcam. Hello. Then you can configure video. We can match FPS if the camera allows you to. Apply rotation data from camera, if any. So if you've actually set up your camera settings beforehand, OBS can actually import all those settings from your camera into OBS and you don't have to set up the camera again. Yeah, and then we can just press OK. So now our camera. So we have our source outline here. And you can actually use these and these to line it up perfectly. But for right now, I want this one to be our full screen. So while I'm talking to you on my stream, I may want a cat cam. So let's add another camera. So we'll go a video capture device. And we can call this cat cam. And then there is my other webcam. Press OK. And then we could just have downsize our cat cam into the left-hand corner. And so this could be a scene. You could just be talking to your audience and all your audience can see your kitty cat. Or if you wanted, you could have your camera smaller and then say you were interviewing someone, you could have their camera to the left of you. So say you run a podcast or you're interviewing someone on live stream. You can have two cameras set side by side. The only thing is, like, it looks okay, but we can make it look a little bit better, right? So if we click on our front camera here, we can go to our filters and then effects filters. You can add an effects filter and we can go crop. So we can add crop and then we can change and make the sides smaller. So it's just me in the picture instead of my whole green screen. So if we do right, 500 is probably a little bit too big. 300 looks okay. I'm actually sitting that way. And then left, we'll try 300 again. Left can probably actually come in a little bit more. And then we can make this bigger. And we can do the same with this camera as well. Just like that. And then to get even more fancy, you can actually add some text. So we can add text. I'm going to say Simba because that's my cat's name. We can select our font. So I'm going to go to P. I always use Protest Paint. Regular. And we're going to write Simba. Scale it down a little bit. And our guest is Simba on our live stream today. So you could set this as a totally other scene. So let's go back and have our scenes here. We can add a scene. Actually, let's rename this scene to podcast. So that is our podcast. And we're going to add a new scene. And I'm going to call this front camera. Oh, sorry, main camera. Okay, so we've added a new scene and all our sources have gone away. So we need to set up this new scene. So video capture, front webcam, that one. So we have our front webcam, and then we can swap back to our podcast, and you'll notice that I am frozen there. That could just be my webcam. They're not very good. But if we go back to here, we can actually natively adjust what our webcam looks like. So if we go back to front webcam and then filters and then add effects, we can then click on color correction. And let's just keep that as color correction. And you can change the gamma, so how bright you want it to make it look a little bit better. You can change the contrast. The brightness level, saturation. You can go black and white. And yeah, you've got all those settings in there. You can also just go back to default if you don't like what you did and try again. So I'm just going to put the saturation up just a little bit, and that looks a little bit better. I've got like notes on that side. Oh, that's because my window's open. And then we can close, and then our camera looks a little bit better. Also in here, you've got an audio filter as well. So you've got a compressor, a noise gate, noise suppression. So if you live on a really busy street, you can turn the noise suppression on and it will take care of 98% of that noise most of the time. So yeah, there's heaps of stuff. And then you can also get plugins to add even more stuff. So say you wanted to have your next scene be of you in the corner and your gameplay or whatever you're talking about in the background. So to do that, we'll add another scene. And I'm going to call this gameplay. Okay, so if I wanted to capture my internet browser, I could press the plus button, go to window capture. So it's just going to capture the window that is open that I select that it needs to capture. So I'm just going to call this window browser. You can set it to, if you've got your game playing in windowed mode, it'll pick that up. So it just depends what you want to do. So internet browser, and it's picked that up. Picked up my window. Now we can add capture cursor. So if I actually hover over that, it should capture my cursor, and then we can press OK. So now that is in OBS. So that is the window capture. So if we get rid of that one, we can have a display capture. So this actually captures and records your whole monitor. So if you don't want people to see some of the stuff on your monitor, it might be better to just do the window capture because then they can only see the window. So the display capture is whatever is on your monitor, you will see. So I'm going to call this monitor 3. So this is a bit confusing. So this is monitor 1, which I'm currently on. Then I've got, that's monitor 3. But then I've also got my OBS over here on monitor 2 recording. So if I'm just going to click on monitor 3. That's not a... Wonder why that monitor is that aspect ratio. That's very weird. Anyway, it's a weird aspect ratio. But as you can see my whole monitor. So not just the desktop window, right? But you can see my, if I bring that down, you can see my wallpaper behind. So whatever is on that monitor, you'll be able to see. Okay, so the last thing I wanted to show you is if we go to add a source and we can select game capture. I just opened a quick game. It's called Mini Motorways. It's pretty fun. If you press OK, I'm going to select capture specific window and I'm going to choose Mini Motorways and press OK. And now it has got my Mini Motorways gameplay. So you can see exactly what I'm doing in my stream. Now, with this, you can always add your video capture device. So we can say, we can add existing front webcam. So there's me again. And then we can scale it down, put it over in this corner. And we can play our game while we're in the foreground. Of course, we can also crop. If we go to filters, we can also crop. I think we had it 3, and this was, nope, maybe that was 3 as well. So we can crop our image like that. So it's there. We can also crop the top down a little bit too. There we go. And that looks heaps better. So not only can you add text and things, but you can also add, say, your logo. So we can go to add a source, and then we can click on image. I'm just going to say logo. And then we click browse. Let's quickly find my logo. There we go. And you could have that as a watermark anywhere on your screen if you wanted to. While you're streaming, you can also add videos as well. So I could also add a media source. I'm going to call this socials. Click OK. And we're going to browse. Okay, and then we're going to press open. Now we can choose whether it just keeps on looping or if we want it to restart playback when the source becomes active. So when you click on it, it'll start again. We can choose how fast it goes. I'm just going to leave those settings default, and then we're going to press OK. Now this is my subscribe button. As you can see, it's taking up all of the screen. So what I can actually do with this video now is apply some filters. We'll crop it. So we only want the video. Okay, so that looks a little bit better there. So we've cropped it, and now we can bring it down to wherever we want it to play. So the other thing that I wanted to show you is you can actually make a scene to become your intro. Okay, so if we go down to add the plus button, we're going to call this our intro. Press OK. Now I'm going to add a media source. And this is going to be our intro stream. And so now our intro is playing. So if we click back to gameplay, so we're back on this gameplay. If we click back onto intro, it's going to start playing. Then we may want to go to our main camera after our intro played. Then we're talking to our guest for a little while. Then we're playing our game or doing whatever we want to do. This is how you set up all your scenes to do that. And then if we go over to scene transitions, we can select how our transitions change. So we can cut. So cutting is very sharp. It just looks like I'm switching. And then we've got fade, which has like a little fades into the next one. Fades out of the previous one and into the next one. It's a gradual transition. You can also add transitions. So we can add a swipe. So direction, we can choose left, we can choose to the right, we can choose up, we can choose down. So that's what it's going to do. If we choose right, so if we choose left, so it's set to swipe now. So if we choose our main camera, the top shot is going to swipe away, and then our main camera is going to come on. Well, that's not working properly, but you get the idea. You can add your own stinger animations to transition from scene to scene. Okay, so now that you have all your scenes all done and sorted, so I've added a intro. So this is just a little quick intro video that I whipped up. Then we've got our main camera. Then we've got our break. I just did it really quickly. Then we've got our podcast. I'm interviewing my cat. Then we have our gameplay. And then we have the end of our stream. So once you've got all of this set up the way that you want it, so you can actually click and drag these into a more sensible order. So you can just click which one you want next and just go down the list, simplifying streaming. I just wanted to pop back into studio mode to show you what this is all about. Okay, so we have our intro playing, and on this screen we've got nothing. So if we click onto main camera, now we're showing up there. So we know that when we hit this transition, we will then be over here. So if we click that transition, now we're live in this. So this screen is what your audience is going to see. So if you then want to quickly queue up podcast, so you know that's coming next, that's your next segment, then you can just talk to your audience, and then when it's time, you can press transition, and now I'm talking to my guest Simba. Yeah. Now you'll notice that I'm back over here, so I can transition back to my previous screen as well. So that's always kind of cool. You can just switch backwards and forwards very quickly doing that. So that's the rundown for the studio mode. So now that we have set up our stream, we're ready to go. Let's actually start streaming. How about that? So I'm going to show you the process of streaming to Switch. I'm going to show you the process to start streaming to Twitch first. So let's start streaming. And it's connecting and we are live. So if we go over to our Twitch. Hello, everyone. There is a delay. Okay, so we have our stream here. So I'm just going to click one of our scenes and you'll see it pop up on our stream. And if we change it back to our main camera, and there we go, our main camera is working. So there is a little bit of delay. So after that, I'm just going to move that over to my other window. Once you're done streaming, you can press stop streaming. Are you sure you want to stop the stream? And yes. Okay, so the same process. If we go to settings, and I'm just going to change it to YouTube. Okay, and then we're going to, same process, hit start streaming. And How to IT went live. We have an excellent connection. You do have chat here, so that's why I always like to have this window open. But down here, it's saying that I'm using 4,000 kilobits per second. So I should really up my settings to 5,000 kilobits per second because I'm already using 4. I'm going over 4. So that's probably why my stream is lagging a little bit. So we're just going to stop streaming. Okay, so same thing with recording. So if we start recording, I don't think I can. But if we start recording, it's going to record whatever's in our preview window, just like streaming. And then we can stop recording and then we can go find our recording wherever we chose to save it.
Well, I hope you found this video useful. I'm Belle and this is How to IT. I hope you have a fantastic day and I'll see you in the next video. I'm Belle. I just touched the mic. I'm Belle and there's a car.